Welcome, everybody, to Taking Control, the ADHD Podcast. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm here with Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, Pete Wright.
Hello, Nikki.
How are you?
I'm so good. It's a week until the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States, and
yes,
so we've got some holiday stuff to talk about, right?
Well, yes. What would our podcast be without talking about some holiday, right?
Right. Well, you know.
We do this time of year.
Tentpole episodes for us, but this is not about just organizing your life around the holidays. This is really about getting through the holidays, because the holidays can be stressful for people, right? You introduce the family that you haven't seen in a long time, and frankly probably don't like very much. Okay, I may be projecting a little bit. That's not true.
Gee, do you have something going on that you need to talk about?
No, but it is very stressful. There's such a show around the holidays for many people, many families, and
that's a good word. That's a really great way to describe it. A show.
I think you're putting on a show, and so no matter what role you take in it, there's something to that, and how we kind of approach the holiday season and do so without, getting ourselves all worked up and stressed and stretched, overburdened. That's what we need to talk about,
Overwhelmed.
Right? Overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Overdone.
Overspending.
Overspent. All right. Yeah. So how do we do it? How do you help folks strategize the holiday circuit?
Yes. Well, I've got five strategies for people to try this season. So it's something they can do immediately, since Thanksgiving is next week. And then, of course, we've got Christmas coming up.
Right.
And my first strategy is to do some planning. And I know that, some of the ADDers out there is like, I don't plan for anything. I procrastinate until the very last minute. But that's where I want to encourage you, if you want less stress, doing a little bit of prep work. It doesn't mean that it has to be, to-do lists all over the place and completely structured and so black and white that there's no flexibility. That's not what I'm saying. But just doing a little bit of prep work and a little bit of planning can go a long way. And I think one of those things that you can do with planning is just not saying yes to any commitments yet until you've actually looked at your calendar. And we've talked about this before when we're talking about boundaries. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really key here in the holidays, that if somebody asks you to do something, if they want you to volunteer, or they want you to make something for, some potluck or whatever, just before you say yes, just let them know, what, let me check my calendar, I'll get back to you. And that gives you enough time, kind of enough pause time to be able to really decide if it's something that you want to do.
It's a calendar waiting period.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you
exactly.
can't buy a gun without waiting 7 days. You can't put anything on your calendar until you've had time to sit and think about it.
7 days. There's a 7-day rule.
There's a 7-day waiting period before you say yes to anything during the holidays.
That's exactly right. Now, we have also talked about this in the past of looking at your calendar daily and weekly, and I think that that's really important to do all the time, but it's also very important to do during the holidays when you've got a lot of stuff going on and you could be, pretty packed with activity. So definitely, with that planning, I think just getting into that groove or that routine of checking your calendar and knowing, what's coming up and what do I need to do for it. And if I do have a potluck on the weekend, do I need to, go grocery shopping at the beginning of the week, midweek? I mean, just start kind of thinking about those things. And if you're already working with a coach, this could be a really good area to kind of help with the coach. Mm-hmm. As far as breaking that stuff down. But if you're not, you can always just talk to your spouse or a friend, and they can kind of help you keep things straight too if you need a little extra support in that area. We also, as far as like planning for Christmas, last year we put together this holiday checklist, and it's in our downloads in the website. So if you go to the website, Take Control ADHD, go under products, you're going to see down below there that there's these downloads and there's this holiday checklist, and it's a great reminder of just certain things that you can do to prepare for your home. It is definitely got some organizing stuff on there, but also also has some planning things on there too. So
and
check that out.
I want to be clear. It's just the template download set. So now the holiday checklist is included in the whole set. So you download the whole thing. You'll get 8 or 10 templates in there. One of them is the holiday checklist, and we just updated it. So it's brand spanking new and clean and pretty.
Yeah. So not only do you get that, you get all the other ones.
That's right.
So it's fantastic. And then the second strategy that I would encourage people to do is to simplify. I love that word. Always have. Simplicity. I think that, again, reviewing your commitments and looking for ways to simplify. And what I mean by that is, it is a busy season for most of us. And so where can you delegate? Where can you maybe instead of feeling like you have to make everything homemade, where can you kind of cut corners and maybe just purchase it at the store or from a restaurant? Or, not every decoration needs to be out. What are your favorites? I mean, just kind of look at the different things that you do for the holidays, whether it's planning parties or decorating or gift buying. How can you simplify that? I mean, even with gifts, you could, figure out if you have 4 adults that you're buying for, get them all the same thing. Who cares? I mean, you know what I mean? It's the thought of it. It's not, I
think of everybody in bulk. That's the thought does count.
Go. It's okay. But it makes life easier, and the thought is still there. You're thinking about them. You're caring about them. Right. I mean, but not everything has to be so complicated. And I think that's the key, is try to simplify. So look at what you're doing and seeing if there's ways that you can do that.
Excellent.
Third one is a big one for the ADHD population, and that's avoiding perfectionism.
I don't like this one. Let's go ahead and skip it.
No, we can't.
No, I think we should just.
Important.
Oh, okay.
What we don't want to do this holiday season is compare ourselves to Pinterest. And, Take Control ADHD, Nikki Kinzer, I'm on Pinterest, and I pin things all the time about organizing stuff and ADHD stuff and all kinds of stuff. I don't necessarily pin a whole lot about home decoration and party planning on the Take Control ADHD site of it. So it's hard because I like Pinterest. I totally get the allure, the thrill of it, or the lure of it. Yeah. The attraction that it holds. I mean, it's really cool on my own personal page, I have this one category that was my daughter's birthday party, because we were doing a puppy themed birthday party. So I got onto Pinterest and I got all these fabulous ideas, and it was actually not that expensive because so much of it was do it yourself. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I do think that there's a time and place for it, and it can be a really great thing. But it can also really self-sabotage yourself by going on Pinterest and thinking that you have to do this, or your table has to look like this because you saw it on Pinterest. So just beware, right? I mean, that's a tough one because I like it, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, is that just setting up an expectation for people that it's just not good?
Yeah, it is hard. And, I think that's, we have this natural, I think, sort of unconscious desire when you see something that you want to reproduce. It's because you want to evoke the same emotional reaction for other people when they see your version of this thing that you got when you saw it in a picture, right? You want to just sort of mirror that experience because it was so good for you. Well, you want it to be good for them too. And we take, I think we forget that individualism is important here, and your individual touch on it is likely more special than what you saw in the picture. So it's okay to take a spin at it and make it your own, and be comfortable with whatever comes out of it.
And if it's too complicated or too many details, then, try something different, try something else. And figuring out what's good enough for you and your family and what you guys really care about, like what really matters to you. Maybe they don't really care about the centerpiece, find that out before you go into all this trouble,
Right.
there's this whole thing we've talked about before, don't should all over yourself.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you have to do these things or you should do these things. Just do what you want and what your family cares about and go from there and try to avoid that perfectionism as much as you can.
Okay.
Okay. That I am not, what?
I will, I promise.
Oh, okay.
Avoid the perfectionism.
Yes, please. Just stop it, Pete. Okay, that I'm not going to have 5 strategies and not talk about organizing.
Yeah, right.
So, of course, these do not go in order. They're just the order that I put them in. But organize. I mean, that's a strategy. Let's make our holidays less stressful by having a few decluttering sessions. Take some time to go through your rooms and get rid of the stuff that you no longer need or want. And, if you have kids, you're definitely going to want to create space for those new gifts coming in. So walk through their bedrooms and playrooms and areas and ask them what they don't need and what they could donate and purge. Less is more.
Purging has become like the ultimate cathartic experience for me. Like I used to sort of fear it, but now I can't get enough of it. Like I will be completely monastic by the time I'm finished because I just find I'm getting rid of so much stuff that I don't have a connection to. I don't know why I ended up with it. And this is such a great time of year to do it. It's just wonderful.
It is a great time. So I'm curious to know, like, what shifted for you? What changed from it being hard to almost being too easy?
Well, we started almost being too easy. That's good. We have this other need in our house, because we've got 4 bedrooms in our house, and one of the bedrooms is that is normally our guest bedroom is my office, and I have this and have for years this giant wraparound desk, right? And I put it up on. You remember? I mean, we've done the stand-up desk conversation, right?
Yeah.
I put it up on these stilts, and so now it's this big stand. It's this giant thing that takes up half of the guest room. As a result, we don't have a guest room in our house. And so we started looking at opportunities. We were talking about shed working, putting a shed in the backyard and putting my office out there, and realized, my needs are really...
I'm sorry, but that's really funny. Pete, your office is out in the shed.
Do you know what? There's a thing. There's a thing. You should do a hashtag search for shed working because there are some brilliant sheds.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm sure
goodness.
There's a lot of creative people out there.
It's hard not to go down the route of shed working once you've seen some of the sheds that people have created. I'd like to live in these sheds.
Yeah, and actually just having that the movement of actually leaving your home.
Yeah. Something really powerful
into another
about that.
building.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm kind of liking that. I need to have a shed office.
you have a good space for it. So we actually don't really have a great space for it. And so we ended up not doing that and realized, as I look at my desk, my giant desk, I use about 20% of the space of that desk. And I had this, I had this computer that was sitting there and the big monitor and all that stuff. And I realized, we could totally change my office into a convertible guest room really easily if we just get rid of the desk, and that means get rid of the computer and get a laptop that is more powerful so I can do things not when we have guests here, and we go, I've got this plan to mount this standing desk to the wall so it folds down and collapses, then we get a couch and it's a whole thing. So that is inspiration enough for me to look around and say, gosh, what stuff do I really need in here and what stuff don't I need, because we have such a great plan to convert this room into a guest room. And so that's sort of the leading inspiration for me to purge. And so I find myself every day I walk in here and I look at something else and I think, well, that's a whole shelf of stuff I'd never use. I don't need that. So
wow,
yeah.
That is so cool.
I really love that.
You are an example that can happen, though. I mean, that you can shift from. I mean, seriously, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that fear that, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be at that place because I can't let anything go.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to hear that. You know what? You can shift.
You can shift. You can totally change everything up, and it feels really good. So anyway, That's me. That's my office story.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Well, thanks
you
for
and your
listening.
shed office.
I wish.
All right. So the very last thing that I'm going to talk about is something that it means a lot to me just because I like living in the present. I like living in the moment. That's a song from Jason Mraz.
Live in the now.
Yes. So it's important, and I think that is a strategy that I encourage all of you listeners out there to do at Thanksgiving. The Day of Gratitude. There isn't a more beautiful holiday to celebrate gratitude than Thanksgiving, and then of course Christmas. I mean, there's just all of these wonderful holidays to be with your family, to build memories, to be mindful of what's most important to you, being present, paying attention. All of those things that we talked about yesterday, last week. I don't know why I said yesterday, but last week about, hearing and seeing and what they do matter. And this is a time to celebrate and be mindful and take care of yourself. And I just, really encourage people to take that time to just be in the moment.
Yeah. And really, I mean, the fact that it is a practice, it's something you have to get good at. If you want to be good at it, you have to try it. It just doesn't just happen.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And for me, it's conscious. I mean, even just with for Halloween, I took my daughter to her school and we went to the morning meeting because all of the teachers dress up. And this year it was really cute because they dressed up as minions. And so the principal,
our middle school did that too. They're all minions.
Oh, did they really?
I think that we are not alone.
So the principal was Gru, and then all of the teachers were minions, and they were the purple minions and the regular minions. It was really cute.
That's awesome.
But I remember sitting down in the back and just watching the kids and actually consciously being in the moment and just knowing that this wasn't good. This was the one moment I had to enjoy this presentation and to watch these kids who are just full of love and joy and excitement and just to treasure that. It was only a second. I mean, it was very fleeting. But to really appreciate just being in that moment, it changes your life.
Yeah.
People. I mean, I just think you appreciate life in just a different perspective. We'll probably talk more about mindfulness. I have a feeling in the next year, because that's something that means a lot to me.
Yeah, and we still have that. We have a lot of that to do, and we still have that book, the book review episode.
Yes, 10% happier.
10% happier. Yeah. No, that's a theme. That's definitely a theme.
Definitely a theme. Yep.
All right.
Good stuff.
Right. Looking forward to it. Happy holidays. We're not going to do a show next week, so we're taking the week off, so that we can be mindful and well organized and not perfect, simply, but well planned. Was that okay?
I love that summary. That is fantastic.
That's good.
You need to write that down and put it somewhere.
It's going to be a mantra. I will make a poster.
Of the show. I love that. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. And we're really only going to have 3 more shows in December because we're going to take
Christmas
the week off
too,
of Christmas,
and
then we'll come back right after that. But 3 more shows after this for the year of 2014.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. You have a great holiday, and eat lots of wonderful stuff. But that's good for you. Thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate your time and attention and mindfulness. And then and you can find us at takecontroladhd.com, and you can subscribe to the show for free in iTunes. And we hope you do. Thank you so much for the kind comments. Happy holidays, everybody, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.